Hey everyone, this is Mike from Ballbrain. I figured I should live up to my name and actually do a video about lighting. So here's a quick, long video about lighting. Enjoy. See, it's still, there are those natural tones that the face has, whereas before you noticed they were like a little reddish, a little orangish. That's because what we're doing today is getting pretty nerdy. We're talking bulbs. Just your basic everyday run-of-the-mill bulbs. Today we're going to talk about standard, ordinary, pretty basic light bulbs and in general lighting. So there's a couple things, there's a lot of things to consider, and most things are in context of the other thing. So gather around, let me tell you a story. When you're dealing with lighting, there's basically two different temperatures to really worry about. When you're looking at color temps, so this is daylight, which is going to be 5000K and above. This is 2700K. Now, the difference so right now these are fire, whatever, is basically if it's orange, you're looking more at the 2700K spectrum. Which is why these, when they call it soft white, it always bothered me because it's never really, I didn't think it was white. I think it is more, I mean, does that look white to you? This, to me, was white. This is 500K, or 5000K, excuse me. So this is your daylight temperature, 5000K. When you look at a light bulb, these are those nerdy numbers that you were always able to ignore, and usually just bought them. You assumed one worked better. You didn't know why they look different in certain rooms and why they don't. So daylight, K number that they're referring to. If you notice the top one, it says soft white, which is 2700K. The bottom, daylight, 5000. That's better. The bottom, which is 5000K, which is daylight. So this is your daylight. This is your soft white. And if you look at my skin tones and you look at the color, it doesn't look as white as the other one. Now, this is all the confusing stuff, because it's all in relation to the other one. So looking at me now, I'm a little more orange, I'm a little more red. In the context of a scene, I mean, it works. You know, like if normal scenes are lit in the daylight and people are lit fine, and then you cut to a scene that's more dramatic, you notice this very well. I don't even want to tell people about Euphoria, but like if you watch that or you watch Game of Thrones, the way they do their yellows and their blues, they just take the daylight and the soft white and they just push it to the extreme. And so you notice this a lot of times in scenes where, in movies, the people in the front are lit very well, they're lit in the daylight, but then the practical lighting that's in the scene, basically a lamp behind them, is lit using this 2700K, right? And so when that happens, then you get this nice little, when it's lit with the background of the 2700K, you get this nice little backlight. Now, right now, it is looking a little more soft whitey because this is 2700K, that's 2700K, the fire that's going are all in that same color temp. Now, when this guy changes to daylight, it's a little more obvious that this is one color temp, this is more that white color temp, and then you can see this side of my face is more the orange. And it has a nice effect, and it depends what you're going for. I think having these having that in there, it just adds to like the dynamicism of the scene. This is what happens when you add a colored light to the backdrop. My dogs are gonna be freaking out because they're like, what is with all this clap? This is normally when I gotta listen or something. However, this bulb, there's obviously this, it's like a yellowish lampshade. So it is gonna tint the daylight down just a little bit. It is gonna soften it a little bit, but I mean, I guess you can't really, you can kind of tell here it's like whiter. And so that's where daylight is like blue, right? I mean, because we just see the sun's rays. We only see the blue because that's all our eyes are, that's what we've been evolved or whatever to see. So we're missing all the other spectrums. So it's like just the blue light is what we're seeing. That's daylight, that's this. Soft white, whatever. Right, so this is kind of nice. So for argument's sake, what if we just take the lampshade off? And this is what we get. So it's a little harsher, and you can see now that it's not dampening it. Now, what was once more purple, and what was once a little more soft white, or orangish, is now lost, because this is a lot more aggressive light. Which brings us to our next number on the thing. Lumens. What are lumens? I don't know officially, but it's like the measure of light, like how much lumens. Everyone's probably gonna be freaking out, like, why are you touching it with your bare hands? What are you doing? 4.5 watts. Hey Siri, what's 4.5 watts converted to lumens?
Okay, I found this on the web for what's 4.5 W converted to.
Oh, that makes sense. The purple that's been in our backdrop, that is 450 lumens. This one up there is 800 lumens, and this one is also 800 lumens. 450, 800, 800. So you can tell this is closer to the talent, so it's a lot brighter. That's why on film crews, there's always like a diffusion. Say, well, what's the diffusion for? Well, because it's a crazy, you want the scene lit, but you don't want it crazy harsh. So now, here's what it looks like with here's without the lampshade, okay, and here's with the lampshade. So it's all the soup, right? And it all makes the image. Purple is just, I know that these walls, but because it's like a tan or an off-white, I know it's technically something I can paint when I add different colors to the scene, right? So there's your 2700K, here's this, right? So now it's a little more dramatic. You can see, look at that shadow is more prevalent. You can see a little bit more, it's yellowish, and so, you know, that's the look. If you like it, you like it's and this is where the artist really comes in, the photographer, the videographer. This is where they're the artist. They understand the lighting and how they can play with the shadows and the lighting to make the image look however it looks is like where it looks cool. That's basically it. We went over color temp and lumens. Apparently wattage is a sort of a correlation if you're on what should we call it? Yep. Just for good measure's sake. This is what it looks like. See, and this is what happens, because when you use auto, this is where you get into trouble,